And now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Freddie, but now we call it Wrestling with Friends. And with me, as always, is my awesome co-host, Wrestling. What you're like? It's not even an aficionado. You're just like a
enthusiast.
Lover of all. An enthusiast,
Yeah.
Mr. Jeff Dye. How you doing, Mr. Jeff? How are you?
I'm feeling good. How you doing, bub?
It doesn't matter how
You
I
way
feel.
too late.
Oh wait, I did it to myself. Ah, damn.
Yeah. That's actually perfect, Freddie Prinze Jr. right there. To be so kind that he won't even do the catchphrase dunk on someone else. He does it to himself.
I scored an own goal. By the way, I did that once. My very first soccer game ever. I was 6, and I accidentally scored a goal on my own team. And one of the other kids on the other team patted me on the back and said, "You're the best player on our team." And it made me cry. When I would cry, I would get really angry like the Hulk. And I ran after him and I kicked him in the back of his leg and just started punching him like carrying cross in his back. And my mom had to run on the field and pull me off. And they were like, "He's not allowed to play." And the ref was like, "We have to throw him out." And I'm crying, "I never want to play soccer again." And my mom's like, "Fuck everybody." And we got in the car and drove home, and I never played soccer again.
I feel like you told me you used to, when you were young, have like a real bad temper, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was a kid. But now I'm old and chill, man. I'm chill like you, bro.
I can't imagine it, but you had that rage in you.
Jeff, it was a great week of wrestling. It was a great weekend. Thank you to the wonderful city of Seattle, your city. The war chest for your boys' federation just got a lot fatter, ladies and gentlemen. So we thank you, Seattle lovers of wrestling. Sorry to Defy Wrestling, which is an indie promotion up there. They actually had a friggin' match while I was up there. And I was exhausted after the first day and had dinner with the lovely Rachel Lee Cook. And I missed your guys' show. But shout out to Defy Wrestling and all you indie promotions out there. We got love for y'all. We got love. Jeff, Monday Night Raw, baby. Should we start at the beginning of the week?
Let's do it.
All right, man. I don't like dumping on stuff. But as far as the Judgment Day Mysterio storyline is going, I don't care. And I know they got hamstringed because they had to turn Edge face when Randy Orton got hurt. So this is completely excusable, what's going on. I want to preface it by saying that. But outside of Rhea Ripley, who I love, no one is getting over. No one. The Damian Priest thing is getting weird almost, and I used to love him, and now it's like, what do they call him?
It's the Archer of Infamy, which is...
I don't know, man. It's just, he's not getting over, and I felt like it was most important to get him over. Rhea's just killing it, because she's beating up dudes, chicks, demons, dragons, whatever. She don't care. But and Finn is Finn,
it's good to
man.
be a giant, you know? She's a giant in the women's division. I just think it's like you said, it's boring. And also, like, I'm hearing rumors, maybe this is confirmed by this point, because I heard it a few weeks ago, that Edge is going to retire and is going to be done. So what happens to his group? It's all...
He better not, man. He's got more in him.
I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Well, we're texting him after the show, and we're going to find out.
Oh, I forgot you have his phone number. I have to go through all these weird.
No, we're going to group text. We're going to group text that one because that would break my heart. I know how I felt the first time he retired, and dude, I actually wrote the story for Edge. He ended up having to pull out of because he retired. We wrote this whole thing where, and it was creepy because it was kind of actually what happened to him, where Christian, he wanted to get the belt on Christian. And Christian was going to turn on Edge and just for weeks smash him. And like Christian even had like it was going to be like when Dave Chappelle spoofed Sesame Street and he was going to do something like that. And they were going to spell the word spine and what each letter stood for and just like mock what he did to this fool's neck. And it was this whole thing. And then Edge actually ends up actually hurting his neck. And he couldn't do the story. And so they just wrapped it around Alberto Del Rio. And he ended up getting it for a day. But anyway, he better not be retiring because I love Edge. But this story's just, stale. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I love Ray Ray, and I just wish he was in better stories. And I'm cool with him putting everyone on the roster over. It's Ray. Sure. Nothing's going to damage his legacy. But just, again, they got hamstrung, so no blame on anyone, but maybe just disband the group and start over with them.
Well, and also, like, we don't have to spend too much time on it, but like, I like every wrestler in this. I like all those wrestlers. There's not a single wrestler I don't like. It's just this story is boring to me, and it's not gripping me. And it really doesn't grip me as the opening to Raw. That's
the best way to point the finger at it. We both love every single wrestler in the story, and we hate the story.
Yeah, it's just not doing much.
All right, well, move on. I just got to say the biggest pop of the night came from the biggest slam of the night. Not everybody's going to want to talk about women's tag team wrestling, but Asuka, I said it quickly, all you up, down, down nerds that got on my case 3 years ago. And Alexa Bliss took on Nikki Ash, a superhero, and Doudrop, who we are going to call Piper the Viper because Doudrop is a dumb name. And Piper the Viper is how she would prefer to be known. So that's how we will refer to her. And I don't care what WWE says. So this woman, Piper the Viper, is Scottish. I'm completely in love with her. I fell in love with her the first time Triple H brought her over for the Mae Young Classic. And I literally was like, who is this? She's amazing. Why isn't she on the main roster? They brought her up. I don't feel that they booked her well so far, but she did I'm going to say it wrong, a Michinoku driver. Did I say it right?
No, you said it right, but she's calling it a Piper driver.
Ooh, so she snuck the Piper in there.
Yeah, she stole the thing.
And by the way, I'm catching up on my NJPW wrestling, on my New Japan Pro Wrestling. My man that wrestled Cesaro at AEW, it literally made me go over there. So we might have to do some Japan segments soon, but I got to get my Japanese up. My pronunciation's not that good. But she hit her Piper driver, and this crowd, now granted it's Canadian crowd, so that's cheating right away, okay? That's like steroids, okay? They're on emotional steroids. They went bananas for it, and I'll be real with you, I only saw it on my iPad, but it was awesome.
I went bananas. I haven't thought about a Michinoku driver since the old Nintendo 64 WCW versus NWO. That's how long it's been. I forgot about the move. I was like, a Michinoku driver? I mean, and I went to the internet and there's videos of her doing it and it's labeled like the Piper driver. But like, I was so excited. I popped hard. And, I'm not telling no tales in school that I'm not like the hugest female wrestling fan. So I was very happy.
Bro. Oh my God, I love that you went back to the video game for it. Was it WCW versus NW? Was that the one?
Yeah, he was on that game, and like when you got his special up and you did that move, it looked so cool. The cool thing about video game wrestling moves is they almost look better than the real wrestling moves because it's a video game.
Perfect every time.
Nobody's trying to protect anybody if it's a video game.
You're literally killing your friends.
Yes,
and that's why we love video games. So keeping with the tag team theme, Miz and Champa versus Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. Look, Cedric is not the best talker, and Ali has not been booked in the best way, or hasn't been booked. I guess this is the better way to say it. So everybody kind of knew which way this match was going to go. I won't care about Miz and Champa until they don't like each other. Until one of them feels the other one cost them a match, and all of a sudden they start to get tense the way Miz was with Daniel Bryan back in the day on NXT when it was the Mentor Junior Wrestler program. Here's your badge. I hated that. But once it becomes that, no one's better at it than Miz. That's why they gave Ciampa to Miz. That's one of Hunter's guys. He's even got the Hunter beard. So they want this guy to have an opportunity to shine, and no one's in the company is better at getting cats over than the Miz. Do you agree?
I agree with that. You've really been making me agree with that. Like in a way, like you've shown me that light about how Miz does that. I'm slowly coming to the Miz side. I was going to say this match though, it isn't my match of the week, but it's definitely my underrated match of the week. Like this, like Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander are so good. They are just so good. And I wish that the internet or the world or the wrestling universe gave as much love to these guys as some other wrestlers who I have to see every hour. But yeah, and I love Ciampa. I don't know. It was fun. It was a very, very, very good. I liked the match a lot. Underrated match.
I know that the WWE has a television deal with India, and that's amazing. And I know that India has stars, people that compel you to watch them, regardless of what you're doing. I worked with one on 24, Google Aishwarya Rai. She's the most beautiful woman on earth. There are huge Indian dudes that are jacked, good-looking cats that speak English and are actors. I've seen more Bollywood films than any of our listeners outside of, people that live in India. The people they've found since the great Kali was special. Everyone they've found since then, and Jinder doesn't count, he's from Toronto, has not worked.
Right.
Mir does not work. I'll put it, listen, he doesn't work so much that Bo Keller is the first jobber name I have ever remembered since Leapin' Lenny Poffo.
Wow.
And he's the one who wrestled Mir, and he looked great. Listen to me right now, Bo. If you're out there, you looked amazing, bro. You were fast. You were flying around. You took the loss, but bro, you won, man. Call me, okay? Like, that's how... I don't get this. You find the right person in India to recruit Indian athletes, Indian actors who don't have the career they want, but maybe they got the right look. Offer them the old NXT deal where you pay to train them. You've done it before. Invest that kind of money there and find a genuine star, because this isn't it. And that's time on TV that's so precious and so valuable. And if the jobber is the one that gets over in the segment, then you just wasted 5 minutes of television. You've wasted them. They're gone. And another wrestler didn't get that chance. So I understand there's a TV deal there, but then like baseball, the teams with the best farm systems invest in scouting and development in those other areas. It's why the Dodgers were one of the best teams at it for so long, because they invested in it. Then they got bad at when they took that money out because the McCourts owned the team. Then they put that money back in, and now their farm system is lush once again. So you have to invest there if you're going to ever have a Western audience take that dude seriously. It's easy to take the great Khali seriously. He's 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked with him and I was scared of him. By the way, he's super funny and super nice. Even his jokes through a translator would always make me laugh.
I like that you called him special. Well, he's just big. Yeah, he's just a huge mountain of a man. This Veer guy, also this match, this might be just a little too harsh, but every sequence, everything was like something from like 1988 WWF, like Saturday morning. It was like so him going for the big grabs and he can't get the little guy, and then the little guy keeps evading the ring, and then he takes him outside and does bad guy stuff. Like it was just not a very exciting match. Also, it's the first time I ever heard of Bo Keller. I don't know that. I didn't know who that was.
Bo Keller, future champion, bro.
Yeah, dude. It just feels tired. The whole match felt bad. And also, do you think that they just don't have somebody to go find, like you just said? Like they have
Khali's there. They have a school there. They just must not invest anything into it.
That's weird. Because like Ireland, right? We have Finn Balor and we have Becky Lynch because of Fit Finlay. He was the one who knew like who was special over there and who could become a star.
Fit's the man, Jeff. You would love this guy. No, well, you probably wouldn't, because he's super mean. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And doesn't like the outside world of wrestling, right? He was one of the guys that didn't want me there. And then they gave me a segment where I had to like direct him. And I was like, oh no, this guy hates me, man. And so I went up to him and I said, hey, Fit, how are you? I'm Freddie. He goes, oh, nice to meet you. I looked him in the eye, shook his hand. I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do, man. I'm just going to stand next to the camera. And if you have a question, I'm here for you. Otherwise, just do your thing. And he goes, oh, thank you. Thank you. And he didn't ask for anything, did his thing. And the promo was what it was. Fit Finlay was never going to be, JBL. I am a wrestling god. Like, he just wasn't going to be that guy on the mic. So the segment was fine and went on. And like the next week at TV, he was like, I just wanted to thank you for not making it about you, I think is what he said. And I was like, hey, cool, man. And from that moment forward, he was super cool to me. And I had to work with a lot of the divas back then. That's what they called them. And he was in charge of it. And that dude fought for those women in production meetings more than anyone else in that company, more than Stephanie McMahon, more than me, more than anyone, dude. Fit had those women's backs. Vince wouldn't let him do any moves. And Fit every week would get something else in. Believe in him. Give him a chance, boss. Come on, Vince. Every single week, dude. He's the man. I love Fit Finlay.
Yeah, we need an Indian Fit Finlay is what we need.
Do you want to talk Lashley Styles outside of the fact that I thought we were getting spoiled and got an awesome friggin' match? And I love both those guys. I would pay a pay-per-view to watch both those guys wrestle any Sunday. I love them. And the Dexter Lumis thing is getting kind of WCW cool, man. I kind of like it.
That's the only part of the match I was crazy about was the Dexter Lumis showing up and getting tackled by security. Just because also it's kind of weird, like, I don't know. I think
Miz sold that too big, by the way. Miz sold that way too big on the camera. I was like, bro, you got to bring that down, dude.
Take it down. Yeah, real theatrical.
It was like, what just happened?
Bobby Lashley, anytime I see a big star lose. You
don't think he has enough credibility where he can take losses?
I don't know. I just feels weird. I mean, I love Bobby Lashley, so like, I would have been sitting saying the exact same thing if AJ Styles wins. I'd have been like, man, I can't believe they did that too. It just always feels little.
So you don't feel maybe you save a match like that for a pay-per-view? Is that what you're saying?
Like two big names colliding. I don't know.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
you're probably right.
Two of the biggest names in the thing.
I did say I felt like we were getting spoiled. And I would pay for it, but you're right. Cause it's like, yo, he lost on regular TV.
Right.
That's so 80s, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm being inconsistent, but I don't know. It felt weird.
Ziggler in theory. We all love Ziggler. He's the man. He gets everybody over like we know he can. That's all I have to say. Everybody knows I got a man crush on them. I do.
You got a few.
Yeah, but he's my main squeeze. Hey, man, nobody sells better. Nobody makes any. Miz can't even sell as good as Ziggler. Ziggler takes the best spear. Ziggler takes the best RKO. Ziggler takes the best super kick. Ziggler takes the best body slam. I don't even remember a body slam he's taken, but it's the best. Ziggler's elbows get higher, and he doesn't even need the turnbuckle. Ziggler's hair flies faster when he does take the super kick. His gum flies higher when he spits it out. His feet move
he
faster.
Does do hell of a sell. The gum.
I love Dolph Ziggler. I don't know what they're going to do with Theory. Can I pitch a weird theory about Austin Theory?
Let's do it. Right. I like what would be an awesome way to book something by Freddie Prinze Jr. That's what I like. I like it. Here's something that would be wild.
Let's swap out the word awesome and let's put in really bad, but conspiracy-wise, I'm going to prove it true.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I firmly believe that what Vince McMahon did to Karrion Kross was a way to rib Triple H because he knew that was Hunter's guy. And that's why he did the whole sexy gladiator gimp thing to him. Because, they're my toys. I'll play with them how I want. And I know that Theory was Vince's guy, his next John Cena. And like Roman said, your daddy's not here anymore. And I think that was work shoot that he threw in there because people know that. And Roman wants to take advantage of the smart fans. Here's what I think happened. Hunter gets his revenge for his guy getting played by playing Vince's guy. So we're at Clash at the Castle and Drew is wrestling Roman Reigns. And Drew wins. And everyone's happy. Here's where the booking is the worst book. Here's the worst part. Here's the part where you'll know why I'll never book. Theory cashes in on Drew McIntyre, the man who carried the belt during COVID and didn't get to hear a single person cheer for him. Only when he finally hears his own people cheer, he gets busted in the back of the head with the case, and Theory cashes in and wins. Here's where it gets even worse. Oh, you thought that was the worst part? But wait, it gets worse. I didn't
think that was the worst part.
Karrion Kross comes out. He beats the crap out of Austin Theory, who just won the championship, leaving Theory just dead in a pool of his own blood, right? Not dead, but beat up and unconscious. Monday Night Raw will also be in England, I'm assuming. And he comes out and they do Theory dirty the way they did Christian dirty back in the day when Randy Orton talked him into putting the title on the line the first night he had it. And he gets the title opportunity on Monday Night Raw. He beats down. They almost like Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair Theory, and he just puts like 10,000 forearms to the back of his neck, gets the win, becomes the champion, and Theory has to go back to NXT. That's the shit that keeps me up at night, Jeff. That's what keeps me up at night.
I like this type of. I mean, here's the thing: that booking is so unpredictable that's what we need.
There's a reason it's unpredictable because none of it should happen.
It should happen because that's what we need. Shake things up like that. That'd be amazing.
Yo,
back to NXT.
Now, the only reason I thought of that was because last week we were under the impression that Drew was hurt, that there was an injury.
Yeah, that's what shoulder thing. That's what I thought.
But I'm seeing him,
back
Claymore kick Roman, Claymore kick poor Sammy again. Dude, Sami Zayn is
killing it.
Dude, he's Samoan, bro. I
love it.
I was so sad when he didn't win that match because I wanted him to, when he was like, yo, we're going to have the IC maybe in the family too. I was like, oh, that would be amazing if he got the IC title in the bloodline. I was like, hey.
He's pulling his weight.
Yes. Right now he's taking boots. But I think they got plans for him. I love Sami Zayn. I got a man crush on Sami Zayn too. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Well, I'm jealous, because Sami Zayn's terrible. Although I do like what he's doing right now. It's funny. Just, the ska guy and all this stuff. He's,
Bro, I love him so much. I hated him when he was the annoying Vince McMahon heel, but every time he's not that, I love him.
The conspiracy guy, the ska guy, just bad idea after bad idea, if you ask me.
He would be into my conspiracy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He would. He would love that conspiracy. All right, let's move to the other side of the wrestling coin, AEW. And there's really only one story to talk about, and then I would like to make a potential apology and retraction. But the story is CM Punk's promo and talking mad smack on Hangman Page, and then him and Moxley having their beef. Let's just jump into it, dude.
Yeah, total jerk move to say, there's someone I want to call out to a rematch right here, and then he calls out a guy who might not even be in the building. Do you know how much of a dick move that is to the fans that are there?
Yes.
It's so freaking low. I was joking with our producer just before it started, like being like, could you imagine you're at like a Raw and someone's like, here tonight, I want to call out The Undertaker, and then everyone just cheers, and then there's no Undertaker. It's just such a mean. It's Daniel Tosh used to do that at the Comedy Magic Club. He would literally, if there was a guy behind, like going up after him that he wanted to mess with. He would go. The cool thing about this club is you never know who's going to drop in. You never know who's going to be at the Comedy Magic Club because everybody plays this club still. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Sandler. The whole place goes crazy.
Oh no!
And then Daniel pops his head behind the curtain. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Heath Heitch." And so the whole crowd's just like, Heath Heitch. Such a jerk move.
Oh my, I have asthma attack.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of like what CM Punk did. Everyone's like, we're going to get to see CM Punk and Hangman tonight. And they're like, no, not really. He's just running his mouth. It's terrible.
There's two. Oh my God, I'm crying. There's two ways to look at it. It's work shoot, and he's trying to turn heel, or there's real stuff going on, and it was receipt time.
Okay.
I happen to know that it's more the latter, and I think he's just trying to take advantage of it and saying, okay, I'll roll with it. But not everyone backstage loves CM Punk, and it's not just because of Colt Cabana. It's because of the way they feel he's behaved since he's got there behind the curtain. And it was actually something that Hangman Page said in his promo when they were having their run to the title. And he said, I'm not just defending this title, I'm defending it for all those people back there. Because a lot of people don't feel like Punk shows anyone respect, really. At least not the type of respect that well, let's change the word, because respect is earned. The type of dignity that one would expect at work. And when you don't treat people as necessary parts of the pie, and I've seen this on a lot of studios, people look at you a certain way, or on a lot of movies, I should have said. I've known young actors that were like, whatever, it's just the sound guy. I'm like, do you want to be heard in the movie?
Yeah, okay. It's pretty important.
So,
it's just catering. Yeah, well, you're a dickhead to catering. Now we noticed, and we don't like that.
It's and the crew that wants to eat, it's really important to them. So you may not care because you're a 92-pound actress, but the rest of us do. Now go have your Marlboro for lunch and fuck off. I've basically had those conversations before. So, and that's what I've been told is kind of the stuff that's been going on. So Hangman Page said a lot of real stuff in that. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, long before Colt Cabana and CM Punk had their falling out, even when they were friends, CM Punk has been a terrible guy in the locker room as far as some like him, and most he's a brat.
He wasn't loved at WWE, and not all of it was his fault. But dude, I do remember this. Punk hated John Cena. Not hated him, but just hated what he represented, right? And that's what the company was behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time Hunter saying, the reason, as different as they are, the reason he hates John so much is because he knows if he was in that same spot, he'd act the exact same way.
Mm.
And and this is over a decade ago, and to hear the rumblings of AEW basically saying he's acting the way John Cena did back then is just damn near everything I disagreed with Hunter on, he was right. He just knows, man.
I don't know how to explain it. We were talking about dignity, and we were talking about the catering, and we were talking about respect. It's we want everyone that we like to be likable. You know what I'm saying? We go, oh, I like that guy. And then when you meet him, you find out everyone goes, oh, he's a jerk back here, or a lot of people have problems with him, or even if you have a bad interaction with a person you'd like or think is famous or cool, it just taints the whole kind of thing. I met Vader, and Vader was just like a jerk. And then everyone was like,
I've heard stories.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, that's how Vader is. And I was like, well, that makes me not as big of a fan of Vader anymore, even though he's like a heel. And so I think the same thing's true with
then it worked.
Maybe Punk.
Maybe that's why he did that.
I heard that's not really it. No, but my point is when you find out what these guys are really like, it can affect your opinion of the wrestler. It's like Bret the Hitman Hart might be the only person that's a bigger brat than CM Punk. They're just impossible to please. It's never enough money. It's never enough booking. It's just just get these guys out of here. Play with the guys that play nice, like Adam Cole and Kevin Owens and all the Bray Wyatts. Those are the guys we like. I'm so tired of hearing about CM Punk and these guys backstage who are just terrible to work with.
I love me some Kevin Owens. After he crapped all over Hangman Page and his cowboy shit to champ shit promo, and he's always going to be good on the mic.
God, he's good on the mic.
Moxley comes out.
This seemed personal. Whoever wrote this is a good writer.
CM Punk laid down and made snow angels during the 18-minute. Well, it was longer than Edge coming out at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
and these two went at it, man. It was just a a flurry of insults that I think were pre-discussed.
I'd hope.
I mean, it went from, you can go ahead and be the heart and soul of this company, but I'll be the dollars and cents. And that's legit. I mean, Punk can, if he's a heel, he can legit say that. He can legit say it anyway, but there's no babyface way to say that. So That's where I was like, man, is this getting personal? Like, because Moxley straight calling him out on needing money, not having heart to fight anymore. And we all know why, which takes us back to the MMA days where he kind of embarrassed himself trying to compete with professional fighters instead of going up to the amateurs, which is probably the better idea in hindsight. But they went after each other and then they fought, and you saw them protecting each other during the fight, which made me go, okay, they had to have known this was going on. Like they had to have. But I love these kind of stories. When I thought Becky Charlotte was real, I still think it was real.
It was real. I can confirm that.
Oh, there you go. Boom, confirmed. I wanted to watch that match so much more. And so I was okay with it as long as both fellas are okay with it. I don't know how Adam Hangman Page and his bodysuits are feeling about it, but if I were him, I would be pissed. Because he got hung out to dry in all this.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I don't have it memorized, so I just brought it up in our production notes here. But some of this stuff is so good. Jon Moxley is the third best guy in his own group, and to me, that sounds like a reoccurring theme in his career. I mean, that's what a good zing. Then he goes, he's the third best Eddie I've ever been in the ring with. He's the second best Kingston I've ever shared a locker room with, and not even the first John I've beaten in Chicago. I mean, like,
dude, he's so good on the mic.
That's whoever. How does this work? You're behind you know all the behind the scenes. Someone writes this for these guys, or do you think they wrote
Punk?
This?
No, Punk wrote all that. Punk wrote all that.
Oh,
even when he worked,
good.
Even at WWE, Gewirtz worked with him on some stuff. Koski, this guy Ed Koski was his guy though, and so they wrote a lot of stuff together. But it was still Punk driving the ship, I feel like, for a lot of those promos. So he's always had that gift of gab.
Really good. I mean, but it's also like he knows how to be like, he knows how to get a little dip. Maybe that's why fans are so loyal to him and love him so much, is that like he's able to be that little ornery, little like the thing, like he'll be able to say the exact mean thing to Kevin Nash or the exact mean thing to Jon Moxley. Like it's insane.
And he always comes off real. There's always this connective tissue that you can kind of grab onto. It never feels like dialogue. It always just feels real. And that's why I think people give him the latitude they do. But there's real heat there, man. And that's, I guess, it's not good because it poisons the locker room. So it can't be good, man. It can't be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated. I'm like in a big love-hate. There's always a tug of war in my heart about liking CM Punk.
Let's stay on All Elite because I think I may have been wrong about someone we discussed last week.
But before you do this, did you know a lot about this wrestler before you made those statements?
No, but I have gone online in the last 7 days, especially when I was in Seattle. And so last week we talked a lot about Daniel Garcia, who is grouped up with Chris Jericho and seemed like an underneath guy in that group. I wasn't hip to any of his work outside of it.
I knew nothing about him.
And based off his look and how he'd been booked and presented so far, I hadn't seen anything impressive. I see him in a match with Bryan Danielson, and he looks great. But Bryan Danielson has not had a bad match that I have seen with anyone ever. He could make me look great. So I can't give that to Homeboy. And then I watched the next week of their booking for this. And it was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. We used to know him as Daniel Bryan in the WWE. We love him. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's great on the mic. He's a great heel. He's a great babyface. And Daniel Garcia, the guy that I don't really care about. 2 out of 3 falls match. This kid is everywhere. Everywhere. And at the very end of the match, which he loses, which he had to lose, He shakes Bryan's hand. By the way, the crowd is so into this match. They're cheering the whole time for both guys. They're screaming, "You're a wrestler!" Clap, 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 clap. You're a They're putting this kid over while I'm watching this match and telling me how wrong I am and changing my mind. And then the match is over and the men shake hands, and Chris Jericho, who Daniel Garcia is a member of his group, goes to the ring. He's been on commentary the whole time. He goes to the ring and he sees Daniel Garcia like being nice to Bryan Danielson. And he's like, hey, he actually goes to beat up Bryan Danielson.
Right.
And because Daniel Garcia was being nice, and he's beating the crap out of him. And Daniel Garcia goes to him, grabs his hand and spins him around and is like, yo, knock that shit off. And Jericho's in his face. And it's like a father and a son having that moment, right? Like, yo, don't, like he's beating your older brother, right?
Yeah.
Like your brother's 16 and you're 13 and you're going to stand up to your dad for the first time because he's just going too hard, man. It's like the drunk alcoholic father who takes it out on his kids because he can't say F you to his boss, right? And that's what this felt like. And they just had a stare off because the dad was like, wait a minute, my kid might be able to fight. And they played it later in like a backstage segment where, yo, man, you better figure out whose side you're on. But I'm coming around on this big time. And not everyone that Jericho's tried to put over has gotten over. But damn if he hasn't tried to get everyone in this company over. And if this is how they're going to do it, I think I'm all for it. And I apologize if he heard what I said in the other one, because, dude, I got no problem saying I'm wrong. And I got no problem saying when people earned my respect. I said it to Adam Cole's face when I met him at a convention. I was like, I used to hate the Bay. It would like take me out of everything. And now I'm the one cheering it louder than anybody. I love you, bro. So please forgive me. So trust me, dude, I may be critical, but I'm open-minded. And dude, that match was the truth. And that moment you had with Jericho was the straight business. And I'm all for it, man. And I look forward to seeing where it goes. So that was my retraction and my love of that segment. They did a good job, man.
What an honorable man you are.
We're going to end with some Smackdown. And we're going to get to my best of the week in this episode. But all of the Ronda stuff is weird to me, Jeff. All of it. And I don't know if it's she's not getting the material and she's not able to put what they're writing for her over, or if it's written strangely. Why would you bring a bag of money and dump it out? Is that a heel move? She played it heel, but in today's day and age, that's more of a baller move. Like, none of it makes sense to me. None of the arrests make sense to me. None of her beating the crap out of women and men makes sense to me. There's no emotion in her face ever. Yeah. It's so weird, dude. There's got to be a way to help get her over without just having the mic and spotlight on her. Because it's just the crowd is super hit and miss with it. Sometimes they're booing. Sometimes they don't know what's going on. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Her music is a famous rock star music. It's not even her own thing. Her gimmick is Roddy Piper's gimmick that she, it's like, she's like you said, I can't figure out. She's terrible on the mic. She's like, I'm the nice person. And then she's like always like so angry, like she's a bad guy. Like, I don't understand her getting arrested. We've seen this before. We've done this before. It's so unoriginal. But I'll put her in the cop car. It's like, oh God. Like I'm so over Ronda Rousey, probably about 3 or 4 minutes after Ronda Rousey came to pro wrestling. Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. I know she's a big star, but it just doesn't work.
Not anymore.
And the hits just keep on coming with what I'm now calling the strangest booking of a world champion ever.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan. Dude, I don't know whose fault this is.
I don't blame Liv Morgan.
Okay, so hear me out on this. I've never seen someone have to play a weak champion. Someone who tapped out to get the belt, but remains a babyface, has to protect her arm, and it's almost not even playing injured. It's like scared and frail and weak. And the stuff with Shayna made her look like a punk, and she's the champion.
Right.
And again, maybe it's her. Maybe they're saying, yo, your arm's hurt, but don't look scared, look defiant. That should be the note. When Shayna's like, I'm going to break your hand, she should be looking at her like, do it now. Just get it over with. And then we'll see if you even get a match. You know what I mean? Like something, like some kind of hero, some kind of bravery, courage, something, bro. Because everything else has been weird. It's just weird. I've never seen a weak babyface champion.
She is. I mean, this match was, she was, I don't know. They're also, it's just hard for me to get into I felt like the crowd, when you look at the crowd watching the match, everyone's just kind of going, all right, this is a thing happening out there. You know? Very black, very, very underwhelming.
Now, SmackDown closed with a strong Roman Drew segment with Sammy taking that boot that we mentioned. We don't have to get too into it. I would rather get into my favorite of the week and hear yours. But my best of the week, that match was awesome. There was a backstage segment. I can't believe my favorite of the week is the backstage segment. with Karrion Kross. And it was unique. It was honest and truthful, like old school wrestling promos. He's calling out Drew McIntyre on the chosen one. That's the theme behind this promo that he's putting over. All the chosen ones are the ones I'm going after. Like Roman was a chosen one. Even when the fans didn't want him to be champion, he was gonna be champion. That was the same with Drew. I remember the segment when Vince brought him in and shook his hand and he was clean shaven, and the only note he would get is lose the Scottish accent. I had to work with him back then. I was like, don't stop taking that note. Like, just speak, you're fine. So Kross's promo's going in on, I know what's going on in your head. You were the chosen one. And then he just cuts his throat and says, but you were fired because they were wrong. You were replaced by another chosen one. And he just goes in on these. And it was beautifully written, completely unique from other stuff. And I know that Hunter is giving the wrestlers who he respects a ton of latitude with as far as who writes their promos. If he likes the way they write their own stuff, he lets them. If he likes their ideas, he puts them through. And I know he respects Kross because that was his guy. And you saw what Vince did to him. So I think he's given Kross a ton of latitude. Remember, I was talking to Kross a lot, and a lot of the stuff I put in my script were his ideas, his thoughts, his philosophies, because I respected those ideas. And I'm really seeing a ton of his personality come through. This has to be him and Scarlett. And I loved it. I loved the way it was edited. I loved the lighting in it. Not so much in the Viking Raiders one. Why you got purple light in a Viking promo?
Corny.
Why do you have to have purple light? Have you not seen a single episode of Vikings? Yeah. Like, just find some limestone mountains in North Carolina, which is probably where they live, and you shoot it there in the mountains and make it look cool, and do it during the daytime and set it off in a lake and burn it and let it watch, but don't have purple Undertaker lighting at a Viking funeral. That's never been done in any Viking movie ever. Like, just do what they do. It's good. Just steal their stuff. Anyway, that's my worst of the week.
Yeah, they're so good at copying everything else.
Yeah, you're not going to copy anything of Vikings, not one episode. Edge was even on the show, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was my best of the week. What about you, Mr.
Best of the week for me was you're going to be surprised why this was my favorite, but it'll make sense. There's a fatal 5-way #1 contenders match. Sami Zayn, Ricochet.
Dude, Ricochet was insane in this match.
He's always insane. I don't know why he's not more famous. Sheamus, Happy Corbin, and there was one more person I can't remember.
Sammy.
No, I said Sami Zayn.
Oh, you did say Sammy.
Oh, Madcap Moss.
Yeah.
Now, fatal 5-way #1 contenders match. The only reason it was really good, and Ricochet always is incredible. But the reason it's my pick of the week and my favorite match of the week is because Sheamus won, and I feel like I'm here for a Sheamus run, a big Sheamus push. I love Sheamus. I know he's a good guy. I also just think he's awesome and overlooked and underrated. Like just a journeyman in WWE. Just completely doesn't get as much love as I think he should. And I think this is, I was happy about that. So that's why it's my match of the week.
I love that you picked this match. I'm always happy when Sheamus wins. I'm always happy when he gets a push.
My worst of the week. We got to talk about it.
Oh, no.
Hit Row interrupts the Maximum Male Model. It was supposed to be a comedic spot, you know? They're supposed to be like, and it was comedic for all the wrong reasons. It was laughably terrible.
This was unwatchable. I mean, you guys, you have to check the acoustics. Like if
Somebody's
you're at the
skipping
forum,
sound check.
If you're at the forum, knock yourself out. It'll make them sound great. The crowd we want to like them. If you don't, you end up having it sound like that. And it made them come off looking amateur. And they should never, no star should ever come off looking like an amateur unless the intent was to do so. First of all, shout out to Massey. We love Massey. I wish he wasn't Massey, but shout out to Massey. I wish LA Knight was LA Knight. I don't understand why they're doing this. LA Knight fucking rules. And this is nonsense. This is nonsense. And then the team that you're getting to shut these guys up and throw them out, the baby faces, your intent is now we're going to make them look bad as well because this rap and these acoustics aren't going to sound good. And there's no post because it doesn't work like that. You're dead on, bro. Oh,
it's been 1 week and I'm already out on it. I was like, in 1 week, I was like, yeah, all right, this is cool. And then now I'm going, oh, I'm out.
They could figure it out, man. It could turn into they could turn it into more like a deaf poetry. I love hip hop culture. I want to see it represented in mainstream. But if it's not represented as clean as everything else on the show, then it makes it look whack. And that doesn't help push it forward. So I would love to see them find a way to make this work. I hope they never rap in an arena like that again, though, or they fix the music or something. Because that was rough sauce, bro.
Have them lip sync, you know? It is weird what us wrestling fans want to be real and what we want to be fake. It's always
idiots.
Very difficult to go, well, no chair shots have to be real. But this doesn't have to be real. It's like, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, hey, we have forgotten, and you're so nice and forgetful that you have forgotten or didn't mention it. Tell the people where you're going to be this weekend.
Oh, yeah. That's nice of you. Just got back from Pittsburgh, had a great time. And this weekend, I am in St. Louis at Helium Comedy Club. So get tickets for that. Helium's a great comedy club. Last time I did St. Louis, it was during lockdown when you weren't supposed to be doing shows and stuff. And so there was no one there. The mall wasn't even open that the comedy club's in. So I'm excited to come back and have an awesome weekend.
Yeah, hit him up on socials. Hit us both up on socials. If he doesn't see it, I will, and I'll make sure he gets it. Lots of love to you guys. Thank you for tuning in each week. If you're into nerdy crap, you can check out my YouTube channel, Geghead, youtube.com/Geghead. You can see some new miniatures that I painted. You can also check out Jeff Dye's YouTube page. What's it called, Jeff?
It's just Jeff, our YouTube /Jeff Dye.
Follow us on our official show accounts on Instagram, Wrestling with Freddie. That's one word, I-E, not Y. Twitter, WWFreddie Pod. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We'll see all of you next week on Wrestling with Freddie, a.k.a. Wrestling with Friends. Peace. This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.